Love that.
Welcome, John. We're excited to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we've got your coastal living fishing line, guys. So tell us how the water looks this week.
It's amazing out there. A lot of people have been catching a lot of fish. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go out because I've been getting ready for, like the game warden told y'all yesterday, hunting season.
There you go.
So I've been scouting all week. I've been getting ready for archery season. Deer archery starts on the 28th of this month, so that's where I'll be.
So
and
you
that's what I've
do
been doing.
both?
I actually do. I don't guide my hunts. I actually just hunt by myself,
Oh, I
personal,
see.
family and friends. I've got a lot of buddies that are actually probably watching right now. All of the Bubba Camp boys that go to Aransas with me. A little shout out to y'all guys. We'll be scouting this weekend, getting ready for the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge boat hunt.
Nice. So no fishing for you this weekend?
So I didn't fish this week or this weekend. I'll be scouting still. So
Okay.
getting ready
Nice.
for archery.
Do you paint your face when you do archery?
No, I just use a mask, little camo mask, much easier.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
So you're,
I'm like,
you're
I'll do it for you.
archery for white-tailed deer?
Yes, sir. For white-tailed
Cool.
deer and for hogs. For,
And, well,
Savage.
hogs.
Yeah.
Hogs, we're trying to get rid of them somehow.
They're horrible invasive species. They tear up roads
We'll talk about feral hogs one of these days.
Yeah.
exactly.
We're gonna
exactly.
have to.
We'll have to, definitely.
And you know, the game warden mentioned that same app that you have been talking about
Right.
for people to stay in tune with what's going on in the fishing world. It's called the Outdoor Annual.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
The outdoor annual, and it's got all the information for the fishing and the hunting. So.
Awesome. And so, but you still have some fishing information for
Definitely,
us, right? What
I
we have to
do.
look
So
forward
I'm going to kind of pick up from where we left off last week. You remember the corks?
Little
that we-
shakers? The
Little shakers.
maracas?
Well, we have the line that we tie to the bottom of that is
Okay.
actually called fluorocarbon. This fluorocarbon line, it works really well because it's invisible in the water. And it sinks, so it gives your bait a more natural presentation. So if you're using a live shrimp, or even if you're using an artificial bait, a plastic or anything like that, it's gonna move through the water column more naturally, and it's gonna look like a live bait to the predators. So using fluorocarbon is a big help. You'll see your catch ratio go way up. I've had a lot of clients that I use monofilament only, and I'll show them the difference. I'll rig one up with fluorocarbon and let them use their monofilament, and the fluorocarbon typically produces more fish.
Nice,
So,
nice.
But only on the stringer. You're
Right,
not looking
so-
for the
so-
whole reel, right?
No, sir. Yeah, typically we use braided line for the reel. We fish Baffin Bay and Nueces Bay, and we have a lot of rocks and a lot of oyster reefs and all kinds of stuff in the bottom. So
Okay, what are
So
we
let's
looking at
talk
here?
about how to do a
that right there
A
is the
fisherman
fisherman's
knot,
knot.
yes.
Yep, that's the most common knot that we use out on the water, and you can tie that directly to the corks that I showed you last week at the top of them. And then from the bottom of the cork, you'll use this fluorocarbon that I was showing you, and you'll tie that directly to the bottom of the cork. And then, of course, your hook goes about 1.5 feet below the cork to 2 foot below the cork. And that's the exact knot that I use for all of it. There's one other knot that I'll show you in the future that actually ties the braided line to the fluorocarbon, and that's more for using artificial only. You can use it for live bait, but I primarily use it for artificial.
For artificials.
But if you go online, you can look up this fisherman's knot. It's a very, very common knot. A lot easier than me showing you. You can just watch a YouTube video for it.
How about we do a segment
That's
on
what I'm
how?
thinking.
Yes,
We
let's
can,
do
we
it.
can.
Yeah, I can't
I'm
wait
ready.
to go on a fishing trip with someone who doesn't know that we had this segment, and they'll be like, "Watch this."
Yeah, we could
But I
definitely
messed it
do
up.
that.
I'll just do a bow.
You'll be tested, I promise. It won't be by me, it'll be by the fish.
I would
So
imagine
you gotta
so.
make sure,
Yeah.
you got to make sure that you tie it properly, because I've taught my daughters at a very young age, and they've gone several times with me, and they'll hook into a big fish, and then all of a sudden, poof, it
Man,
comes
and
loose.
that is
It is.
devastating.
That's the
It's
part where
heartbreaking.
it can
It
be
is.
like
It is.
relaxing to go fishing, but at the same time so irritating, especially when
Oh,
you find a
exactly.
fish and lose it
Definitely.
or spend
Especially
I'd
when
rather
there's a
catch no
huge
fish at
struggle.
all than lose a good fish. That is my biggest thing.
totally.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
and what kind of fish can we see out there this weekend?
So this weekend, your trout are still biting really well. They're hitting piggy perch right now. And of course, your artificial bait, if you're using artificial, the down south lures are really producing right now. Your redfish are still running. A lot of the big reds are showing up, of course, because they're still moving offshore to go and breed. So you can catch those on any natural cut bait, mullet, live menhaden or dead menhaden, cut up into chunks. It works really well. And we haven't seen a whole lot of flounder rod and reel, but now is the time to where the flounder are going to start as soon as whenever you mentioned earlier that we're going to get cooler weather.
Yeah, I was going to say in the cooler
As soon
season,
as you said
we'll see
that,
some flounder,
I started
right?
thinking about flounder
Exactly.
immediately because as soon as the weather drops and that temperature drops, they feel it and they start to move offshore as well. So,
Interesting.
of course, flounder gigging is shut down in November, but right now is a really good time
Still
to
got
get
time.
them. So, oh, definitely.
Nice. Well,
So-
thank you so much, Captain
welcome.
John Little, for joining us
Thank you for
every
having me.
Friday for our Coastal Fishing Line.